بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I greet our listening audience with the greeting of peace. Assalamu alaikum. Some of you are listening in through Facebook, and some are on the webinar listening in, and those of you who are on the conference call and are looking at the webinar, you can see the screen of what we are presenting. Also, those of you that are on Facebook, you can see the screen of what we are presenting. So as you know, during the month, we start out with the Arabic, with Arabic explanations, and then we have our comments that we make. So let's see, what chapter are we on today? Chapter 31:28. I think that's the chapter. No, that was yesterday. So today it is 65 verse 7. 65 verse 7. 65 verse 7. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. With the name Allah, the merciful benefactor, the merciful redeemer. لينفق ذو ساعة من ساعته. لينفق. This lamb here is the lamb, we call it the lamb al-amri, the lamb of command. However, this is not a direct command, like we have the command. This has the commanding spirit, but it's indirect because, as you can see, yunfik is in the third person. This is the third person. So let him spend. This is the yunfik. Let him spend. And this kind of spending is not just charity or taxes, which we're going to be talking about today. We're going to be talking about charity and taxes. But this kind of spending here is investment. We would call it an investment spending. And there are 5, let's say, major kinds of spending when we're talking about spending of wealth. And this will cover all 5 types of spending. So let him spend. We'll come back. Well, okay. So we have investments. Investments, you put money into some type of venture, and with the expectation you're going to receive back money from your investment. Perhaps more than you put in because you want to earn a profit. There's nothing wrong with earning profit. Spending, and that type of spending. It's part of the business. Buy when the prices are low, sell when the prices are high. That way you make a profit from your investment. So that's investment. That's one type of spending. Then you have savings. You have savings where you can put your money in some type of savings program, which would be more, it's an investment, but it's more conservative. That's a conservative form of investment. to put money in a bank account in terms of savings, insurance, and other types of programs or commodities. That's a type of spending, savings. Then you have charity. Charity is a kind of spending. That's when you give. You give something of your properties, of your monies. You understand charity. I don't have to explain charity. That's charity. Then there's taxes. You have to pay taxes, especially when you have a profit. You earn a profit, and your profit margin, part of that money has to go towards taxes, and part of that money has to go towards charity out of that profit margin. And then the fifth kind of spending we call consumption, consumptive spending. That's where you go and let's say you buy something to eat and you eat it. You just consume, you clothes, different items. There's no return. There's no return on that money, on that purchase. But yet, there is an investment, even in consumption. There's an investment. Let me give you an example. If you invest, like we had Comtrust, and Comtrust was a meat plant. So many of us invested in Comtrust. We took our investment dollar. So you have 5 spendings, right? Investment, savings, charity, taxes, and consumption. On the dollar, you should have all 5 types of spending on the dollar. What percentage? What percentage of that dollar is going to go towards investment? How much you're going to save? What you're going to give to charity? You're going to pay taxes, and what you're going to use for consumption. You should break it up in all 5 categories to the dollar, per dollar. All of your money should not be spent in consumption. If you have $1, that whole $1 should not be spent on consumption. You have to have the concept in your mind of investing, that there's going to be return. Now, one word that we use a lot, economic programs. The Honorable Elijah Muhammad economic program. We have to have an economic program. And many of us don't even know what economics is. So here's the principle here, Leonfic, a principle of economics. Now, consumption is that we had a meat plant. We have a meat plant, and we invested in the meat plant. Then we turn around and we buy chicken from the meat plant. So I invest in the meat plant, then I decide, okay, I'm not going to eat any chicken in my home. In fact, I'm not going to eat any meat in my home, except that it comes from Comtrust. So when I sit down to dinner and I eat chicken, which we eat a lot of chicken, I found this out because I was the Imam of the masjid when we had Comtrust. And I never realized how much chicken we eat. We eat a lot of chicken because we were ordering chicken. And we were ordering chicken more than anybody. So every time I sit down and eat chicken, I am increasing my return on my investment. So that consumption dollar for chicken is really, it's going to come back in the form of investment because the more chicken I eat, the greater I'm going to realize on my investment dollar that I invested into Comtrust. So we can see this as a community. This is where economics comes in. If you're in a community setting now, then your consumption dollar, if it goes towards the business in your community, when that business realizes a profit margin, that business has to pay taxes, that business has to make contributions, those contributions And that tax dollar is going to come back to you. And if you invest in that business in your community, that investment dollar, the profit margin on the investment dollar is going to come back to you. Because when a business makes a profit, it has to pay back. It has to pay back its investors. It has to pay taxes. It has to make contributions. All of this comes out of the profit margin of a business. So you want to be able to receive investment dollars back from the business. You want to receive contributions back into the community from the business. And when the business pays taxes, you want to see the tax dollar being used in your community. This is economics, I think, 101. I didn't do too good in economics. That's after a while, I guess I didn't do too good in school. I didn't do too good in biology, chemistry, economics. Maybe I wasn't too good in school at all. But economics is not easy. But the basic principles, I got the principles. Okay, so this is the idea. Leonfic. Like right now, I can't think of the shirt. I buy my shirts from a Muslim brother. So he has shirts. All the shirts look alike. That's okay. Because I wear shirts. I have to wear shirts. I can't go around without a shirt on. So it's a necessity that I have a shirt. So I would like to have a shirt that goes down to my thigh, that covers the private parts. This is part of the religion, that you should cover your private parts, both men and women. You should cover yourself. But I don't have to have the shirt go all the way down to my ankles. I don't have to have a shirt like that. It looks like a woman's dress. So I don't want that. I just want it to go down to my thighs. And and then under the shirt I have pants. Now if I don't have pants on, the shirt has to go down below my knees if I don't wear any pants. But since I wear pants, the shirt can go down to my thighs. And my private parts are covered. Okay. So he has the shirts. So I buy all of my shirts. I buy enough shirts from him that would suffice for my need and wants for having a shirt. If I buy my shirts from him, and he's a Mali student, which he is, he's a Mali student, his wife makes the shirts, I buy my shirts from him, the more shirts I buy from him, even though it's consumption spending, we call it consumer. I'm a consumer buying shirts from him. But even in the consumer spending, I'm also investing because the more shirts I buy from him, he's going to make a donation back to Mali. From the shirts I'm buying, because he's a Mali student. He's a Mali teacher. So he's a part of Mali. So even though I'm satisfying my consumer needs, I'm also making an investment. He invests back into Mali, then Mali can do things that Mali is doing. And Mali is a charitable organization. So Mali does more in charity. I hope you understand what I'm saying. We have to have this community concept. Now, let me say this. I'm talking like the progressive chief. They gave me the beautiful name for me to explain myself so I won't be so harsh when I'm talking and telling people what to do. People don't like to be told what to do. So I was in New Jersey, and I saw a project that they want to do in New Jersey, a nice drawing of a project, future project. And there's a brother in New Jersey that has a meat plant. He's had a meat plant for years. But when I say this, people take it for granted. I have found out, and when I was in school, I studied business. Business was my major. But I think I was a genius when it came to math and calculus. I took so many calculus classes. I think no one told me, but I think back to how we do. I think I was a genius. But anyway, if the people in New Jersey, if the Muslims in New Jersey is going to decide that the only meat that they eat in their houses I'm not even talking when they go out to eat. In their house will come from this brother's meat plant, his meat place. All of the Muslims. If all of the Muslims of the mosque that have this project, if they all decide all of the meat, and we eat a lot of chicken. We eat so much chicken, they name the place Church's Chicken. That's how much chicken the church people eat. And we are the same as church people. If the mosque people, they eat so much chicken, we eat so much chicken, that if they decide just to buy the meat from him only, no other meat will be allowed to come in your house except that it comes from this Muslim brother's place. His profit margin would be so high that he'll be the major contributor to the project. In fact, you could build a masjid off the profits of you eating chicken. Believe it or not. Just chicken alone. You could see it, they put it on TV and movies. Some cities are based upon a business of that city. And everyone in the city works for that business. And that business makes contributions to that city, the life of that city, the financial life of that city, the tax life of that city is based upon that business, that one major business in a small town that everyone works at, the majority of the people works at, and other small businesses are based upon that business. If that business leaves town, the whole town goes down. Like Detroit. Detroit depended on the auto industry. It was a town that thrived off the auto industry. When the auto industry goes down, all of Detroit goes down with it. It's basic economic principle. I hope you understand what I'm saying. Because yunfik, you have to spend. You have to spend. Sometimes as a consumer, that spending has to be high in the economy. That spending has to be higher than your investment dollar. Because at the time, the economy doesn't need a lot of investment dollars. It needs more spending. Spending helps stimulate. It helps stimulate the economy. Spending does. You can't be a spendthrift in terms of not spending. You can't hoard. This is the balance the Qur'an gives us. You can't hoard and save all of your money. You can't get all of your dollars and save it. You can't have all of it in the savings. At the same time, the economy doesn't call for a lot of investment. It's calling for spending. That you spend the money. That you have to do that so that the economy would turn. That's what spend means. Spend means to turn. So it needs to be stimulated to turn. We had this problem at one time. The economy needed to be stimulated. And the president, they didn't have time. They said, we don't have time to go get equipment and you put money into building roads and things. We don't have time because the economy is going to crash. So to stimulate the economy, the president, some groups, they just give the poor people who don't save. See, the poor people don't save their money. They spend every dollar they get. They run to the mall with every dollar and then look somewhere for another dollar. The middle class, you got one group of the middle class, they are saved. They save a lot. And then some of them invest. And then you have the upper class, they put a lot of money in investment. That's where your heavy investment comes from. So sometimes you want to put more money in the hands of the poor people so they'll spend and that'll keep the economy going. But sometimes you want to limit the spending. So to limit the spending, we'll raise the taxes on the poor people and lower the taxes on the rich people because we need investment dollars. So when you need more investment dollars in the economy, lower the taxes of the rich people, raise the taxes of the poor people. When you want more spending dollars in the economy, lower the taxes of the poor people, raise the taxes of the rich people. I'm just giving you a basic idea of how it works. So saying that, sometimes we have these two bodies in our government. We have the Democratic body, and we have the Republicans. And the Republicans have the tendency to tend to the rich investors and what have you, and the Democrats have the tendency to tend to the poor and what have you. So the Republicans, they invest monies and they get the monies for the government. This is the Republican side, and the Democrats spend the money. So in essence, the Democrat is spending the Republican's money. It's all one economy. It's not two economies. It's one economy. And in order for this economy to work the way it's set up, sometimes we need Republicans in office, and sometimes we need Democrats in office. Or else the whole economy may crash if it goes one way. Liyunfik. So this Quranic principle. Liyunfik. So let him spend. Let him spend Zu Sa'atin, the possessor of a spread. That's literal. That's what we say, man, look, I got this spread. I got a nice spread. You pull a roll of money out of your pocket, he has a nice spread. Or you live on the Ponderosa, and you'll say, yeah, he has a nice spread. So this is the language here. Our colloquial language is Quranic language. And Quranic language is not colloquial language. This is the highest form of eloquence that's written, that's spoken, is Qur'an. Zu Sa'atin. So the one who has a nice spread, let him invest. This word should be translated as investment more than charity type spending. When we read about spending in the Qur'an, our mind goes to charity. It doesn't go to investment. It should go to investment. Investment. Let him invest. As everyone is to invest. So the one who has a nice spread, let him invest. Min sa'atihi, from his spread. Well, man qudira, and whoever has been restricted, they're on a fixed income. Alayhi rizquhu, his provisions. His provisions have been restricted upon him. That we could say he's poor. But it's restricted, meaning that it's measured. Qudira comes from the word of measure. He only have a certain measure. It's fixed. It's a fixed measure. It says, Fela Yunfik, and let him invest also. So even out of the restricted measure that you have of income, you should still have in your nature, because this Qur'an comes out of the nature of man. It comes out of the nature itself. The same nature man comes out of. You still have to have in your nature to invest, even though you're on a fixed income. We can't be a people who are always looking for handouts. You can't, generation after generation, you can't be the same recipients of getting handouts. So the economy is set up and this religion is set up so that if you receive handouts, those handouts are given to you so that you will learn to invest, and after a while, in your investment, you will not have to have your handout because of the return you will get on your investment. But your investment will be small, start out small, but it will grow. It'll grow like the seed. If you put one seed in the ground, that seed, if you cultivate that seed will yield 107 ears. And each ear will have 100 grains, 100 more seeds. So you start with one seed, and then next thing you know, you got 700 seeds. Liyunfik. This is what Allah says. Liyunfik. So let him invest also. Mimma atahu Allahu, from what Allah has given him. All of this comes from Allah. The one with the big spread, it comes from Allah. Even though it came, as we were saying before, it may have come down through generations in terms of inheritance. But even the one who's just starting out, he receives from Allah also. All of it comes from Allah. La yukallifu Allahu nafsan. Allah does not burden a soul. Illa ma ataha, except for what he gives it. So meaning the capacity. Whatever capacity, since we're talking finance, that you have been given, do not burden yourself. Allah does not burden you in your financial situation. He's addressing the one who's poor, and he's addressing the one who has a nice spread, who's rich. Neither the rich man or the poor man should not be burdened by what Allah has given him. His soul should not be burdened by it. A rich man we shouldn't say to the rich man, if you become a Muslim, you have to give up being rich. You got to be poor like the rest of us. That would be a burden on the rich man's soul. And if the poor man comes into the religion, you can't say to him, you have to give charity just like the rich man. That would be a burden on the poor man's soul. So whatever Allah has given them, they're not to be burdened by that. Neither one should be burdened by what Allah has given them. Say, yaj'alullahu ba'da usrin yusran. That Allah has made after any difficulties. After any difficulties, ease. Ease is within the difficulty. Yes. Liyunsik. Now, we could stop there and that'll be enough. But my spirit say, keep going. Keep going. So, some people call me. They think, oh, you get tired. Maybe somebody else should. Look, this is my spirit. My spirit is pushing me to do this. I love this. Yes. But I did prepare. I prepared all year for this. So my spirit tells me, hey, if you're going to do this during Ramadan, you have to prepare. That was last Ramadan. What am I going to do next Ramadan? So I'll prepare all year for Ramadan. This is called Parkinson's Law. Look it up if it still exists. I know years ago I read the book. Parkinson's Law says, and this is Sunday, so I'm going to talk today. I'm going to talk today, so I'm not watching the clock. I'm on Allah's clock today. I'm not on man's clock. I'm on Allah's clock. And, according to Allah's clock, 1 hour could be, 4 or 5 years. Okay. So Parkinson's Law says, and this is a lecture, that if you're going to speak once a week, if you're going to do the Jummah, and this is for those who speak, who give the Jummah khutbah, you need help. So I'm going to try to help you. There's so many of you, none of you can take it personal. If you're going to speak once a week, then take a week to prepare. Don't take 1 day to prepare khutbah. Take a week to prepare the khutbah. And you start on Friday to think about what are you going to be speaking about next Friday. And go find a verse. I'm showing you the easy way. I learned this from my blood brother. I keep talking about my family. I'm going to be kicked out of the family reunion, but my blood brother. And just show you the closeness. When I started speaking, I'm an introvert by nature. I'm an introvert. I don't speak in front of people. I don't talk in front of people. I went to college. I took speech in my senior year because I was too afraid to get up before the class and speak, so I had to wait till I was a senior to learn how to have the nerve to just get up and make a speech. And I opt out of one of my speeches. I asked the professor, hey, is it all right if I just write it and give it to you? To give the speech, you see, I'm not going to be a speaker in life. So, hey, I had to negotiate some grades, as you can see. So look, let me slide. So he says no. He told me no. Whatever you do in life, you're going to have to learn how to speak before people. He made me get up and speak before people. Okay, so I'm asking him. So they asked me, you be the Imam. I'm saying, okay, I don't know how to speak, and it's just a few of us. I can handle it. So I asked him, how do I speak? How do I know what to talk about? This is Friday. How do I know what I'm going to talk about next Friday? Some of you don't know what to talk about. And then how to form a speech and make an outline like I'm showing you now. This class, I'm a teacher. I'm not here to entertain you, even though some of you may be entertained by these presentations, but literally, I'm a teacher. I'm a teacher by nature. But I'm an introvert by nature also. So I don't know how I got like this, but Allah made me like this. And you're probably going to only hear me speak about religion. If I have to get up before people to speak about something else, I go into my introvert bag. I can't do it. But religion, I can do it. Yes. Imam Muhammad was telling me that. And he was telling me that shows your sincerity in the religion. He says, because when I be with you, you be quiet. You don't say one word. We be talking, you won't say one word. We can't get nothing out of you. He said, but as soon as I mention Qur'an, he said, I can't shut you up. You get to talking, and I can't get you to stop talking. You teaching me. We laughed. I said, really? He said, no, that only means you're sincere about religion. That's all it means. But I said, I teach it him. But anyway, that's my nature. So how do I know what to speak about next Friday? So I go to my brother. I say, hey, look, how do I know, how do I get a theme? I need a thesis statement for my speech every week. How do I do this? Because I don't know. First thing I think of of my thesis statement, that's my subject, what the subject's going to be, my statement. And then from there, I form my speech. So I learned that in speech, in a speech class. If you're an imam, you've never taken a speech class, but just go take a speech class because you have to speak all the time. So he told me that's easy for you. He said, take the Qur'an and let one verse be your thesis statement. If you notice my style, I only talk about one verse. Today, I got one verse here. I'm going to take a whole hour with a little ad-libbing, but most of the time, within 1 hour, I can teach on this verse with 1 hour, and I'm teaching the whole time. I'm not lost for words. Because if you're an introvert and you lost for words, as the comedians say, you'll bomb out. You just 5 minutes go by, and you expected 30 minutes, and I don't have nothing else to say. Then I'm going to go into some type of collapse, you know. So you take one verse. This one verse here says so much. He's telling me this, even though he's not a reader of the Qur'an. He just says that one verse should say so much that you should be able to form an hour speech off of that verse. And your speeches don't have to be to disprove. Your kind of speeches will always be to prove. To show, you're going to show positive things from the verse. You're not going to be a speaker who has to disprove an idea. You're going to be a speaker who always explaining an idea because you're a teacher. Explain the verse, teach from the verse, and there is your speech. And you can give a speech every Friday and be fresh. That's what I got from him. So I said, okay. So that's what I do. So I said, hey, I could speak every day. Every day I could give a speech and be fresh because I just speak from another verse. And I can take a verse from the Qur'an and I can have speeches from now on. Even though, because the logic is consistent, I repeat myself, and repeating myself is not because I'm lost for words. Repeating myself would be a method of teaching like Allah repeats himself in the Qur'an. It's a method of teaching, a method for you to learn, but there's a new subject every day. It stays fresh. I'm showing, now this is, we should have an Imam's class. I would like to have an Imam's class if you didn't think that I was making myself sound big. But but for those of you, some of you, you don't know what to talk about, and you don't know how to form a speech and stay with the subject. Sometimes you have 5 or 6 subjects within a khutbah. Sometimes you rattling off 10 or 12 verses in one khutbah, verse after verse, and it's too much. It's too much because those verses say so much. Slow down and take one verse at a time. Just slow down. And I'm always hoping and praying that you benefit from the presentation. Okay. How did I get on this? I don't know. Where's Alabama at? He's supposed to be putting a message up for me to stay on the subject. Okay, liyunfik. So here in the tafsir, he says liyunfik. Liyunfik, let him spend. Let him spend. Let him invest. Ala mutallikat. Ala el mutallikati. El mutallikati is the divorced woman. The woman who's divorced and single. So this spending, and it's an investment kind of spending, should be spent on the woman that's divorced. Now, in this society, we call it alimony. Alimony. That in Islam and in the American society, especially if you have children, and you divorce a woman, and you have children from that woman, you have to spend upon that woman. You still have to give her finance. You still have to finance her. Unless now, and today I'm not talking about corruption. I'm not addressing corruption, and I'm not trying to get around corruption. I'm addressing our good nature. I'm addressing the good nature of man today, not the corrupt nature of man. Because we spend so much time addressing corruption, we never address goodness. And our goodness will overcome our corruption. So I'm talking from the good nature of man and man's responsibility. So the divorced woman, this is what the person here, the tafsir, has. So I'm drawing this idea from his tafsir. Okay? And whether this is what he meant or what have you, I'm drawing the idea, an Islamic idea from the tafsir. That's what I'm doing. So if you divorce a woman, you can't divorce a woman and leave her hanging while you go and get another woman. You can't do that in Islam. If you divorce a woman, you still have to provide for her until she marries again. If you marry her and divorce her, you have to provide for her until she marries again. Again, I'm not talking corruption. I'm not talking about a woman that marries you, divorces you, and then have all these boyfriends. That's corruption. I'm not addressing her. I'm not talking about her. I'm talking about the good woman with the good nature and the good man with a good nature. Sometimes the marriage just don't work out. But even if it doesn't work out, you are still responsible for the woman to spend on that woman. And murdi'at. Al-murdi'at is the one who nurses the child. If there's one who's nursing the child, you are to spend on that woman also. So today we may not have a woman who nurses the child. We may have a child that's put in a nursery. A nursery, or a school, or preschool, so forth and so on, or the babysitter. The one who's helping with the child, you should spend on that child, on that person, on that nursery, what have you. We call them nurseries now. You should spend. These are two ideas he's giving here, that both of them you have to spend on. If we follow that, especially with the divorced woman, and you have children by the woman, you always have to spend on the woman and her children. A good man does not want to see the mother of his children suffering. Not a good man. No matter what the relationship, you didn't make it. Okay? But she's still the mother of your children. So if you're the one with the spread, the side, then you still have to spend on the mother of their children so that your children will have the same type of life you have as one who has a spread. You don't want to see the mother of your children living in poverty and you're living rich. We're talking about man in his nature now, in his good nature. So you still spend upon them. If you did that, even the one who is poor, let him spend out of his means also on the divorced woman. If you did that, if you did just that, and you had that in your community life, you had that in your social life, then you're preparing yourself. You're already preparing yourself with the idea of having more than one wife, financially speaking. Because divorce is so hot in the community that you already have more than one family you're caring for. If we take this idea out of the street, I'm taking the idea of relationship out of the corrupt street mentality and putting it in the decent human mentality. Then you already supporting more than one family. And if you're seen doing that the woman, the divorced woman, does not have to go down to the government, to the friends of the court, to force you. You can do your responsibility, and she doesn't have to do that. If we're just seen as a community of people, a Muslim community of people, and we see that this is our way, then no one will frown upon you if you talk about polygamy. But when we look and see that you have these dockets, the cases, and the friends of the court are stacked so high, it's crashing the computers, and you're that kind of people, then of course, you're going to be frowned upon when you bring up the idea of polygamy. It's just natural. And you can't take one person as an example. We have to look at the whole people. Spending. Talking about spending. Yes. Dhu sa'atin min sa'atihi wa man qudira. So we have translated this also. The one who possesses wealth. And from his wealth, and whoever is restricted, they have to spend. So this restriction, he's saying, qudira here, he's saying deek. Deacon is one who is he's restricted. He's restricted. Deek. It's a word for he's restricted. He's tight. He's tight. His spending is tight. His wallet is tight. He doesn't have a loose wallet. It's tight. Deacon. That's kudira. So he's given the idea of kudira. His measure. He has only a fixed measure that makes him a little tight in his spending. That's deep. Alayhi rizquhu falyunfiq mimma ataahu. So ataahu is defining the word ataahu. So here for the Arabic students, this is a means of increasing your vocabulary, because you're seeing Arabic words defining Arabic words. This is how your vocabulary increases. So this is part of the lesson that we're giving here in the month of Ramadan. So we're teaching lessons and we're making a presentation so perhaps everyone benefits. So atahu meaning he gives help. So what he gives help. Allahu ala qadrihi. But Allah gives him upon his restricted amount. لا يكلف الله نفسا إلا ما أتاها سيجعل الله بعد عسر يسرا, which we have translated. He says, وَقَدْ جَعَلَهُ بِالْفُتُوحِ. So بِالْفُتُوحِ, I'm just going to explain this by looking at the word so that I will make it applicable to our situation now. And here we see Fathun, opening. So Allah will give him. Allah will give after difficulty. Allah will make the way easy. By the way he makes it is by opening the way for you. If you take the little of what Allah has given you, and you find your circumstances difficult with the little that you have received, if you learn how to spend it correctly, the little and spending it correctly is saying that after a while Allah will open a way for you, and you will not have to have your hand out anymore. Because in Islam, begging is forbidden. You cannot beg. The one who has the resources, he has to know that you're in need without you having to beg. You're not to beg. And you should give. Part of the spending is to give before he has to beg. But and the one who's begging, who's receiving, he has to work to put himself in a situation he doesn't have to beg anymore. So let's look at our presentation today. So here we have an outline. So if you're giving a speech, sit down, and what you can do is write your speeches out. Learn how to write them out or type them out. And you have computers now. Learn how to type your speeches out. Learn how to measure how many pages you're going to need to give a speech for 20 minutes. A quality speech for 20 minutes. This is a khutbah. Khutbah don't have to be more than 20 minutes. A nice quality speech for 20 minutes. Okay, and make an outline. Take the verse you're going to speak on, that verse. Do the research around that verse. Study the verse. Join the Mali classes. Learn how to read so far I'm giving you what others have said. I've been basing all the talk on what others have said that have stimulated my mind to say things. Now, I write the speech out from it. Now, in the khutbah, I wouldn't give what I just did. I don't do that publicly in my public speeches. I'm doing that here because I'm teaching the Arabic students. But what I'm going to give you now will be from the public speech. You're not going to see a lot of Arabic and stuff. You won't see that. You won't hear a lot of Arabic. Because in the public speech, I don't use Arabic. I only use Arabic when I'm teaching. When I'm teaching the students that's learning Arabic. Because you shouldn't use Arabic with people that don't understand Arabic. And I know some of us like to look and sound so as though we're so proficient in Arabic. I know we like to spit out Arabic verses and things and show everyone that you not only do you know Arabic, you're very fluent. So you want to have this fluent tongue and show off with a fluent tongue and just but no one understands what you're saying. Actually, when you do that mentally, when you switch languages in the middle of your speech and no one knows what you're saying in the language, you're losing your audience. Mentally speaking, you're losing your audience. And if you keep doing it, you have lost your audience. Now someone asks your audience, what did he talk about? You'll say, I don't know. Like right now, if I quit right now, because of all the Arabic that I have used And because I'm coming from the Arabic text so much and saying Arabic, if I stop right now, somebody say, what did he talk about today? I missed it. You say, I don't know. Because your mind is shutting down with the Arabic, because those of you who don't know Arabic don't know what I'm saying. Those of you that's in the Arabic class and you're watching the screen here, yes, your mind is being stimulated differently than the ones who don't know Arabic. I've lost you. I haven't gained you yet. All of you that's listening don't know Arabic, I've lost you. I know I've lost you. So I have to apologize. I always apologize. But if you stay, I'm gonna get you back. Because I'm gonna quit talking Arabic. So I get my audience back. I'm showing you this, brother Imams. I'm showing you. A lot of times you all lose me in the Kuba. Because your Arabic is so fast, my man can't catch all of that. And I know Arabic. I know Qur'an. And then I listen to see, why did you do that? I know what you say. But you say it so fast, and why did he do that? Is it something you want to show like Liyunfik? It's something I want to show you with Liyunfik. I don't want to show you all other Arabic. Just I want to show you this 5 ways of spending that you're not going to get if you read the Qur'an. It's not in the translation. It's not in the commentary. But this spending is in the Qur'an. It's in the Qur'an, but no one talks about it like that. These people giving us translations and things, we have to get away from them and start reading this Qur'an ourselves so we get the benefits of this Qur'an. Now, I'm talking about Liyunfik, and some of you would say, I never read that before. I never heard that before. And you'll reject it. But I could support it with the Qur'an. I could support myself. But I'm not doing that. So here's the outline now. After you finish writing out the speech, just write the speech out. Then go back, look at your thoughts. Then make an outline of your thoughts and go back and tweak your speech so that it fits the outline. Then because you keep reading over the speech, learn how to speak from the outline. That you're not just reading and boring someone with your reading. Learn how to speak from the outline. Or learn how to read that you're not boring the audience with reading, and always try to find what you're talking about. Find examples of how it applies to your audience. So you have to know your audience. That's the first thing. Before you get up to speak, know your audience so that you can take the concepts and ideas you're talking about and find ways that you can apply it to the life of your audience. Don't go 1,400 years ago and address that audience. Address your audience 2018 right now, today. How does what you're talking about fit your audience right now? If you give a hadith or something the Prophet did 1,000 years ago, how does that apply to me right now? Don't try to convert me to be a 1,400 year ago Arab. Take that and make the analogy now on how I apply it. So here's the outline. Charity, a fundamental principle, a means to improve community life, which I've spoken much about it already. Zakat is tax. Sadaqah is a contribution. And then we have, for the application now, the audience that I'm going to be addressing, the audience that I come in contact with, which would be the audience of many of you. We're going to talk about Sadaqah tul Fitr. That's the Sadaqah that's coming up. It's going to lead to that point. That would be what we call the fiqh. All we're talking about, here's a principle of fiqh application that we can apply right now from what we're saying. So I hope I'm not holding you too long because I want to take the time to teach and show this. And this is on recording, so you can go back and listen to the recording. If the recording is on Facebook, the recording is on the NEE Network, the recording is also going to be on YouTube. I put the recordings up so you can go back and listen to the recordings. So amongst all people of the great religions, of all religions, especially of the 3 religions, Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, and even among naturally good people, just good people, we find the fundamental principle of charity operating in their life. It's a natural, fundamental principle that comes with our original nature. Charity is. And I was making a statement, I believe yesterday. I don't know if I completed a statement, so let me make it again. You will find that the African American, and people know this about the African American, even though the African American is a recipient of charity, you'll find African American in a community that are recipients of charity, even though you will find African Americans poor, you will find the African American is a very charitable people. Very charitable. And people know the African American has this nature. The African American has this nature of being very charitable. And the problem that we have, the corruption we have of this, is that people take advantage of that nature. African Americans know the African Americans are very charitable. So they take advantage of that nature of the African American. And it's easy to take advantage of the poor African American, take advantage of this charitable principle that's in his nature that he didn't lose. We didn't lose it in slavery. Being charitable was not lost in our slavery experience. But we have people, we have leaders that take advantage of that charitable nature. That's our problem. Our problem is not giving. I can show you right now. The only money that I'm asking for is I ask for money to help build a school. I found for people that could benefit. They're poor people, but I don't like to keep talking about Africans like that. So I ask my, as a leader here, a teacher, what have you, I say, donate to the school project. And you all donate right away. I said, we need $2,500. So you donate right away. I don't have to beat you and give big talks about it and all of that. You donate. Now, for those who are in the Mali classes, the classes are free. I don't ask for donations for the classes, but you donate. You just donate. But man, what can I donate? Okay, you donate without me asking. And some of you, there's a group who donate regularly, and I just tell you, okay, I can use this money to help with the conferences, and we can do better now financially with the conference, with those who come to the conference. Because that's your nature. Your nature is to give something. It's already in your nature. Don't you know if I sit here and if I took account, like an accountant, and I say, okay, the Mali classes is going to cost you. I'm going to charge you for the classes, which some people suggest. But man, you should charge them. That's all that material you have. You got all that stuff. They go on the site. All that stuff you have written and put up there, that's all your material. And they're using it. You should charge them. I say, no, that's okay. This is my Sadaqah. If I charge them, where are my blessings going to come from for giving? So I'm giving, but I don't have to do that. But I'm an intelligent man, and I know our people. If I were to charge you, half of you would drop out the class because you're struggling, because I put a struggle on you. You know, I'm challenging you. In every class, I'm drilling you. I'm making sure that you learn, and it's not easy. So you'll take the easy route out. You'll quit. If you had to pay. So half of you will quit. The other half is not going to pay. Some of you are not going to pay. Your payment's going to come up short because you're not disciplined to pay your bills. You don't have that discipline. I know that. So you're not going to pay the bills, and then I got to run you down for your bill. Or you forgot to pay last month. You haven't paid. So all that comes in, all that friction comes in, that, Mali will get less money if I charge you than if I don't say anything. And you donate, Mali will have more money. We don't have a lot of money in our account, But we'll have more money in our account financially to do what we need to do, and we have more people learning than if I was to charge. If I was to charge, there'd be less money financially for Molly to work with, not me personally, just Molly to work with. It'd be less money to work with, and we have less students if I charge you. But if I don't charge you, because of your nature, your charitable nature, we have more money to work with, and we have more students learning, whether everybody gives or not. Because some of them give enough to cover for those who don't give. And you're giving above what I would have charged you. Now I'm sharing with you the nature of the African American without taking advantage of you. I never want to be seen or felt like I'm taking advantage of you. Someone thinks at some point in time, Molly going to start charging because you've gotten all the people involved now. Molly has 6 other teachers and people are learning. At some point, Imam Salim, no, Molly, education for Molly will always be free. And make sure, those of you who are part of Molly, make sure education, religious education, Quranic education is always free. You getting it free, so those come after you will get it free. Don't charge. Never charge to teach Qur'an. You don't charge people for that. If you can't afford to do it, you can't afford to give, don't do it. And don't put your family on charity role because you're teaching. No, before you teach, go out and find a way to earn an income. Before you start teaching Qur'an, before you become a Quranic teacher, go and find a way to have an income first. Then you start teaching. Don't teach to look for an income from teaching. Find yourself in a way of making an income first. So this idea I want to share with you. But when people come to me and they say, Brother Imam, look here, you can make $1 million if you do this and you buy my product, you get all the Molly people to buy my product, and you can make all this money for Molly. I say, no, I can't do that. I'd be taking advantage of the students. You want me to use my influence to get money from them to give to your project. No, why don't you do like other business people? Advertise. Compete. So I said, I can't do that. I'd be taking advantage of your good nature because they know you have a good nature. And here you are listening to him so I can get him to get the money for me. And I'm saying no. I tell him no all the time in a nice way. I tell him in a nice way, no, I can't do that. Because that's what is hurting us in religion. Too many religious leaders are taking advantage of the good nature, the good charitable nature of poor people. Now, the one who has a spread, and he has earned his spread, you can't do him like that. Because he'll put a check on his good nature. He'll write you a check, but you ain't going to keep getting that check. Not him or her. But the poor person, they'll keep doing it. They'll keep giving. They'll keep giving. And we've experienced that. We had people giving. They took such advantage of the people that were giving, the people couldn't even pay rent. They were giving their rent money. They gave their rent money to the church. They were giving their rent money to the mosque. And the leader didn't care. Just go out and get some more rent money. And that ran a lot of people away from Islam. Just that alone. And now we have it again. So I'd rather teach and show you your nature than to come and take advantage of your nature. Now, how many people right now, out of all y'all listening, can send me $1,000 right now? 1,000. Raise your hand. 1,000. Come on, click. Show me the click. How many are going to give me $1,000? Okay, let's bring it out. $500. How many of y'all going to give money? $500. Y'all been hearing this all month now. How many? $500. How many do we have? Okay, we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Okay, that's $500. That's $500. Now let's get down to $100. How many are going to give $100? $100. How many are going to give me $100 now? You've been listening to this all month, and Allah is blessing you. Allah is going to bless you. He's going to give you this. $100. Okay, now, let me count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. There we go. Okay, alhamdulillah, we just raised $80,000. We can build 5 schools in Ghana tomorrow morning at 8 o'clock. That's wrong. No. But how many of you all will take the time to come back into your right good nature that Allah created you in? And we won't have to do that. Taking advantage of your good nature. If I have to do that to you, you're dead. You're still dead. My teachings are no good. The teachings I'm giving are not affecting you if I have to do that to you. If we find goodness in the hunter to capture the animals for food, we find goodness in the hunter, or the fisherman, or the farmer, if we find goodness in them, we find the principle in them to share what they have gained from that livelihood. We see it all the time. If you grow tomatoes, if you have your little garden in the backyard, you're growing tomatoes, you're going to grow more tomatoes. Allah is going to yield for you to have more tomatoes than you can eat yourself. But just because you have all of these tomatoes, your first nature is going to be to share a tomato with your neighbor. It's in your nature. Look, I have some nice tomatoes here, Miss Johnson. Would you like to have a couple? This comes from my garden. Yes, you're proud. A little boast can be in it. But that nature, the give, is coming up in you. You go fishing. How many of you go fishing and you catch your limit? How many of you go fishing and you catch your limit and you have them and it's so good you be catching over the limit? But what do? First thing you do is find a neighbor. Look. You got to show them. You got to have your fish story that goes with it. But your charity is kicking in. Would you like some fish? I caught all these fish today. Would you like some? Oh, take some over to so-and-so. Take some to a family member. You start giving fish away. You find it all the time. Even in a good businessman. So he's in business to make money. The merchant, he will give you something over and beyond what you may pay. He'll give you something. Even give you something if you don't pay for it at all. This is a good practice to have as a merchant. I've explained this before in speeches about a good merchant. You know, there's a merchant. He's from Africa. I don't know why I don't have to tell you he's from Africa, but his people are known. In fact, he's from Mali. He's from Mali, and they're known for business, for doing business. His family. So every time I visit him, I don't purchase from him because the things he sells is for my wife. So I'm with my wife, and she buys from him. He doesn't have anything for me, but he always has little jewelry and things for her, and she always buys. But she sees who has the wallet, and he understands about the male and the female, the husband and the wife relationship. And I'm Imam Salim. So all this is part of this business. When we walk into the business. Now he serves her. Oh, I have this for you. I have that for you. I have this for you. Oh, remember that necklace I told you last time? Here is a bracelet that goes with that necklace. Here's the earrings that go with that. Always. And I'm watching. But you know what he does with me? He says, Imam, here's a bottle of oil for you. He gives me a small bottle of oil. He just gives it to me. I don't pay for it. Every time. He said, here's a small bottle of oil. Every time. So he gives me something. Now, this is a good business practice because one day they were vending at some type of event. And there was one table with the African American and there's one table with the African. Now both of them are good people. I know both of them. They're good. But here's my wife again. I'm with wife. They're selling jewelry, both of them. Which one table do you think ended up getting in my pocket? The African. Because of the nature of him always giving. And the African American doesn't give. In that sense, he doesn't give. So the way he got us is the same way. Remember those earrings you bought? Here's the bracelet that goes to it. And a necklace also. Same way. With a nice greeting. Everything. And that's business. So one day we had some little girls with us, about 5 little girls. And we were at the festival. He had his booth at the festival. We go inside. We didn't see anything. He says, wait a minute. Wait a minute. So he went and got some little decorative bracelets and gave all the girls 2 bracelets for their arm without charging. This is how he does. This is business. Good business. Find something that you can give your customer. Give them something. Just give them something small. And you will find you will get return business. You should always work. Don't work to get every dollar out of someone's pocket. Work to get them to return. You want their return business. That's how you're successful. So be charitable. Be charitable in your business with your customer so they will return. Be charitable with a smile. Be charitable with a greeting. Be charitable in business. And you'll find your customer returning every time. Don't always make it a dollar issue. This kind of charity we find in the religions and in the good nature of people, and it's common with Islam because it's built into the nature of religion, it's built into the nature of creation. Look at how the trees give. The trees that grow fruit, they give. Everybody eats from the tree. That's charity coming from the tree, and that's business. You grow an apple tree. The deer going to come by. They're going to eat from the tree, but they don't eat from the top of the tree because they can't get up there. They're going to eat from the bottom of the tree. Apples going to fall off the tree. Animals going to come and eat the apples. They're going to come and get the apples for the animals, the squirrels and things. They come. Whoever likes apples, get apples, cherries, whatever it is. And then you're going to take some apples and eat from it yourself. And then you're going to go to the market with the apples. Allah is showing us it's in the nature of creation, it's in the nature of man, and it's in the nature of the religion. Charity. Even when you give of yourself, of your intellectual properties, it all starts with the minimum, and it gravitates towards the maximum of giving. In exercising the maximum degree of charity, we must be prepared to share our wealth, money, homes, automobiles with those who are homeless or poor in order for us to exercise the maximum degree. We must be willing to give up much of what we hold private and dear for the benefit of those who are underprivileged of Allah's benevolence. That's dear to you. Oh, this is good here. I can give this. You want to give some clothes? Give the clothes that you wear. Give the clothes that you want. Once my wife wanted to just go and sell some items, some clothes items. They have a lot of clothes. So I said, yes, you like to dress. My wife, she likes to dress. And my wife is jumping on me because she said, you're talking about me every day. So I said, well, some of it's made up. I just make it up. But she does like to dress. So she has extra clothes. And not only her friends. I said, you got friends, you can point them out. They all like to dress. So don't ask them to go in their closet and get some stuff that's ready for them to throw away. Ask each one of them. You're going to have a resale shop, one-day resale. Think about it now. Go and get one item that you like, that you still wear. A good item that you don't see it as worn out of style. You don't want it. Don't go in your closet and get something that you don't want anymore. Go in your closet and get something that you do want, that's nice. Take it to the cleaners and have it cleaned and everything, and then go to your friend and ask them to bring one item. Just have a like small thing of one item of a nice outfit, and then sell it for a little bit, just a little, and see how you do. She said, well, they got plenty of stuff. I got plenty. I said, no, don't go get that stuff you done threw in a bag, stuck back in some closet you ain't seen in 2 or 3 years. Don't go get that. Go to your good stuff and just get one item of your good stuff. You ain't poor. And do that. Yes. And let's see what happens. And they did that. Very successful. And they felt better about it. She felt better about it. They felt better about it. Yes. And put it on hangers. Make it look nice. Go get one of those pieces you only wore one time. Just once. You haven't worn it. You only wore it once. Maybe you bought it 2 weeks ago, but you only wore it once. Just get one item like that. Not all of it. Yes. That's the maximum. We're talking the maximum now. Not the minimum, the maximum. Charity is used as a means to improve the community, as we have been speaking, to improve community relations. It is a great necessity for the good of the future and well-being of society. Though we want to think, say, and show where Allah wants us to be equal, especially equal in opportunity, we will still and always find that some of us have a greater spirit, greater talents, and greater skills than others. Those with lesser gifts and abilities may find themselves at the mercy of the better achievers. Therefore, I want us to be more sensitive with each other, that we stay in touch with the best of our nature that He created in us. He wants us to keep charity in our spirit. So Allah does not want us to be equal. If we're all equal and we all have the same, and we don't have poverty, we don't have someone less fortunate, we don't have someone who doesn't have as much to give in terms of intellectual property, then the nature of charity will leave us. We will no longer, that will be lost. So Allah always wants us to have inequalities, so that this nature, this original nature, will stay with us. I hope you understand. The first type of obligatory charity is called Zakat. You have to pay Zakat. The first war of a Muslim on another Muslim is when the Muslim group refused to pay Zakat. No. You're going to pay Zakat. You're going to pay if you're a Muslim. And if you're not a Muslim, you're going to pay into the jizya if you're going to live in this community. So you can live in the Muslim community, but you're not going to live in the Muslim community and not pay some kind of tax and enjoy the roles and enjoy all the benefits of the taxpayer that helps build the community, and you say you're not going to pay because you're not a Muslim. That's not how it works. And that's not how it works in the United States. It is used to relieve the pressures on the less fortunate by taking a percentage of the annual income or wealth from those who are more fortunate. This is the tax dollar. The amount arrived at by most teachers on the subject of zakat or charity in Al-Islam, they say is 2.5% of 100 of your personal holdings. Now, I don't know where they're getting it from, the 2.5% of 100, but I'm not here to argue it. But the hadith says, that according to a hadith, well, let me say a hadith that I read on charity is 2.5 of 10, not 2.5 of 100. It's 2.5 of 10. And 2.5 of 10 is 1/4. Now, if you're a genius in math like I am, if you look at the whole concept of the economy, of a community, you probably are given 1/4. But it's 1/4. Now, when you're giving of your intellectual properties, you're to give 1/4. 1/4. You're not to give the student everything. You're at home. You're sitting at home in the comfort of your home. You don't have to go anywhere. You're on the computer. I'm on the computer. So all of that's a gift. And then you're learning or putting it up here for you. But even then, I'm not to give you everything. I'm only supposed to give you 1/4, enough. And that 1/4 is enough for you to go and get the other 3/4 on your own. This is the idea of teaching. The teacher don't have to give you everything. Just 1/4. If we have the 4. It's not take 4 birds. It's take 4 from the bird. Go look at the birds again. You're not counting birds. You're saying take 4 from the bird. Maybe we have to give a talk on it. And if you just take 1 of the 4, like you're saying the 4 is business, education, politics, and culture. So you hear everyone teaching, those are the 4 you take, those are the 4 birds. No, it's not 4 birds. It's 4 from 1 bird. That 1 bird we have as a flag. If you look at our flag, our Islamic flag, it's a bird. That bird is the Qur'an. And it looks like as the pages are opening, it looks like the bird flapping its wings. That's the picture we're giving of the flag. It's not 4 of them. It's only 1 bird. Take the 4 from that bird. But if you just take 1/4, meaning just take 1 of them, you can bring a community to life off of 1 of them. If you concentrate on just business, of having a community of just business people, like the brother from Mali, if you just do that, you get the other 3, but the whole community can come alive off of business. Like I'm giving you the example of the brother in New Jersey. If you do education, become a college town. The whole town will thrive off the university. If you do politics, Washington, D.C. is a town that thrives off of politics. And you have culture. And we know we have towns that thrive off of culture, tourist towns. They're called tourist towns. They thrive off of their culture. Just 1 of them. 1 of them, you take 1/4 and you get the other 3. Quick lesson. And just take it from the bird. Take it from Qur'an. Take your business principle from the Qur'an. Take your educational principles. Take 1 of them, but take it from that 1 bird. And when you call that 1, you will see all of them will come together. So zakat is not the only way the Muslim society survives economically or financially, as well as the American society. The second type of charity is called Sadaqah, which is an additional deed performed after the obligatory deed of charity has been fulfilled. There's a great range for giving in Sadaqah. We have the 2 Eids, which, to bring to your attention right away, that one is in the form of money, mostly like Eid al-Fitr, we give money. And the other is in the form of food, or meats from the sacrificial animal. That's from the Eid al-Adha that we give from the sacrifice. Both are forms of Sadaqah. The meats as well as the money. They're both forms of Sadaqah. Sadaqah is expected from everyone, the poor as well as those who are in a better situation. Those who don't have anything to give, the poor and homeless, your spiritual giving in charity is more important. It's important that you still keep that original nature, that original spirit in you to want to give. And that's important for the whole human society. It is really a confirmation of your faith. Sadaqah. So you don't want to lose that. Every man and woman needs the spirit of Sadaqah in their life in order for them to feel healthy enough to meet the great challenges of life. You must have Sadaqah in your heart if you're going to make it. Muslim nations, as well as the Americas, as well as the United States, they have to finance defense for their homeland or the building of roads and other things from the taxes that's collected. When you listen to the president speak, give his State of the Union address, you'll see how much he talks about the tax dollar and how they manage the tax dollar. And in that tax dollar, there are things that they have to build for the country. There's the military defense they have. There's education. Money has to go towards education. Education doesn't generate a lot of money. And there has to be their charitable programs. In fact, dear Muslims, you will find in America the Christians are some of the most charitable people that you will find amongst the religious people. It's in the Christians. And we can take a page from their book on charity. So if we want to compete in the idea of giving and being charitable, we can look at them and see. Because a lot of the charitable organizations, they come out of the church. In the government, they have to spend. They have to spend and they give towards these charitable organizations. All of it's part of keeping the nation together. So you hear the president addressing the tax. The tax comes from the people. They manage the tax dollar. And in their management of the tax dollar, they have to use it for these various entities. And charity is one of them. It's not all investment. So we'll find that it's used for the improvement of the social life of the less fortunate. It is to help them have the basic necessities of life. This is the tax dollar. Food, clothing, and shelter, and education. Food, clothing, shelter, education. You will see coming out of the tax dollar of the United States for the less fortunate. We have to give them a chance to free themselves. Listen, the tax dollar that's coming, the money that's coming out of the tax dollar to help the unfortunate, the less fortunate, to have the basic necessities of life is giving them a chance to free themselves from an impoverished situation and provide them with an opportunity to establish themselves. So if you understand what I'm saying from the start, even those who are on the welfare roll, if that's the right term to use today, that are receiving contributions from the government to assist them, it's helping them to become free of their circumstance of having to have their hand out, even to the government. Some of us, we're doing wrong. I think we're doing wrong, not totally wrong, and always finding ways that the government has to give us more. When we should be teaching and teaching and teaching how to take what you're getting from the government and how to convert that into an investment that will free you from being impoverished. Yes. And I'm not saying it's not done. It has been done over the years. When the African American was given an opportunity for education, and just recently in our lifetime, they opened the doors of the universities, and they put together programs. They put together programs that will allow the students that they felt could achieve in a major university, but didn't have the finance because they were underprivileged, to allow them to attend the university, and many of us got into school like that, and many of us completed our education, and we did better. And we are not on the welfare roll anymore. A lot of African Americans benefited from that. that some of them rose up from that situation they were in, from the projects, government subsidized housing, and was running for president of the United States. Yes, that's our story. And now, I have to do the quantitative research. We may have enough middle-class African Americans who can begin to take on the burden of helping the less fortunate African Americans and bring them up out of the circumstances they're in. Instead of it all coming from the government. That would be our Sadaqah, a special tax that we have, that we're going to give. The middle class is going to be taxed. They're going to tax themselves that this income is going to go to the impoverished of the African American, our own people. And we're going to help them and show them and educate them and bring them out of the circumstance that they're in. You want polygamy? Then the middle class that can afford polygamy, you have to go down, look at the welfare roll, find a woman that's on welfare, and tell the government, look, we're going to take this woman off. Because brother so-and-so going to put what you have been doing for her, Mr. Government, we're going to do it. So-and-so, we're going to assign this assignment to so-and-so over there. He's going to do it. And he's going to provide for her and her children. Yes. As he has a responsibility to her, and she has a responsibility to him. And he's going to bring her out of that situation and educate her, make sure she's educated, and whatever it takes. And he's going to watch over. Because right now, it's such a burden on the government, we're going to start doing it. And we have a community we'll bring into our community. We'll build a model community, and we'll bring her into our community and bring her off of that. And then, when a brother sees she's doing good, she's doing better, I want to marry her, you become the wali automatically. You're the guardian. And if you say, no, she went to school and she's my accountant now, and she has inherited now from her family or what have you, and I'm going to set the dower so high you can't afford. And Islam is saying, no, that's not right. Then you marry her yourself. If someone else can't marry her, then you marry her. If you don't want someone else marrying her, you marry her, and her children is part of your inheritance. We have to go back and read the verses again. Read these verses again and look at it again. We're living in America now, and the government do so much that we take advantage of the government, and we bring street life into the religion, and we start just playing with it. Playing with our relationships, playing with marriage, women playing with men playing with women. You see it right in your face, and trying to hide that they are righteous. And in fact, you don't even know the religion. Now, the amount of Sadaqah is not determined by the scholars, let's say, as with Zakat. Meaning Zakat, many of them will say 2.5 of 100. They may not all agree, but 2.5 of 100. But with Sadaqah, there is no amount. Therefore, I am not in agreement that everyone should pay the exact same amount when it comes to Sadaqah al-Fitr. I hear this all the time. Sadaqah this year is $10 a person. I'm not in agreement with that, and I can't sign the support for that. I know some people stipulate a particular amount for everyone, but should the poor person pay the same amount as the rich person? Should you make Sadaqah a tax? Like some call it Zakat al-Fitr, an obligatory tax, and they give the amount. That would not be justice. And in the B, it wouldn't be fair. the secretary of the company. This comes from the president. He was showing them the secretary of the company should not pay more taxes than the owner of the company. We shouldn't have these loopholes that the poor person is paying more in taxes than the rich person. Not more in taxes. So the brother with 10 children should not have to pay $100. You would say everyone pays $10. So here's a brother, he comes with 10 children, so he's going to pay $100 because he has 10 children. And the brother who is making more money with no children, he only pays $10. Where's the justice in this? However, like those who kept asking the prophet, the praise and peace be upon him, how much should we pay? How much should we pay? How much should we pay? So he gave them an amount. And we take that idea to say, okay, we're going to give everybody an amount. No. Let's use an analogy to the situation. If they kept asking him, they didn't want to pay. If you keep asking about Sadaqah, how much should I give you? How much should I give you? You don't want to pay. You don't want to give. Just reach in your pocket and give everything that's in your pocket. Those of you that can afford to give, you should give. If you can give more, give more. Those of you that can only afford to give less, you're on a restricted income, they should give less. If you are giving for family members, then you determine what is fair and just. It's called Sadaqah. You determine. Now, if you want to benchmark, then $20 is a good figure for what we want to do in celebrating the Eid, and making sure that all of us will have a good time celebrating the Eid. That's what the money is for. We want to make sure that everyone in the Muslim community has the chance to celebrate the Eid. And that's what the money will be used for, that we give. And if we see that someone amongst us needs money to help them make sure they celebrate the Eid, then the Office of Finance should determine what it will give them. The money is not for any project. You don't come to this time and collect money, and the Sadaqah el-Fitr I'm talking about, and collect the Sadaqah el-Fitr and use it for a project. You don't use it to pay your mortgage on. You don't use it to pay your utilities for the masjid. The Sadaqah el-Fitr is for to make sure that everyone enjoys the Eid. Now you can say, in order for all of us to enjoy this Eid, we want to have a mini carnival so all the Muslim children will come and they will enjoy this occasion. And the community can say, yes, then give what it takes. Those that have the means, give what it takes to have the carnival. So it may be more than $20. And some of you can afford more than $20. Use it as a benchmark. And some of you can't afford $20, so give what you can afford. And then take the money and say, we're going to take this money now, and we're going to make sure that we have this carnival. And everyone can come. All the children, we come, and we're going to enjoy ourselves at the Eid. I'm seeing that now. And that's good for us. We're having concerts to celebrate the Eid, concerts, and the Muslims are performing at the concerts. We don't go outside. We stay inside. And more the Eid celebrations are getting greater and greater, and it should be based upon what we can afford in terms of Sadaqah. But if you perform at the Eid, look, I'm saying this, don't go to the Eid to perform at the Eid, and you're demanding out of the Sadaqah the same that you would demand if you go perform at a conference outside, at a concert outside. You don't tell someone, oh, if I'm going to come to the Eid and perform, it's going to cost you $10,000. And now the imam or someone is over trying to get $10,000 extra dollars out of the community to pay you. No. That's your talent. That's your gift Allah has given you. Now we'll pay for the mic. We'll pay for an amp or a mic or a stage, but we're not going to pay you. You ain't walking away with money in your pocket. You're going to come and donate your talent to the celebration to make sure we have this great celebration for our children because we're in competition. Not to eliminate, but we want our children to feel as good about the Eid as Fitr as the Christian children feel about Christmas without it becoming corrupt. That's what we want. And what's wrong with that? Yes, we want our children looking forward to the Eid and celebrating Eid with us. That's what we want. So don't make it harsh and don't make it unfair and don't be unjust with each other. Because the word Sadaqah comes from the word meaning truth. The word meaning truth. So be truthful. Don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to each other. Be truthful. It comes from the heart, and it's a confirmation of your faith. It's a way that we thank Allah for His great benevolence. Alhamdulillah Rabbil Alameen. We thank you today for listening in on our presentation. Tomorrow we will be back at 6 o'clock within the 1 hour. So, Ramadan Mubarak. Have a blessed Ramadan. Peace be upon you. Assalamu alaikum.